comic book fans, and welcome to another suddenlycomics.com video. And it's Monday and it's the price variance, and Allan and I are continuing our look forward into 2022 at the comic related films and comic related television series which are coming up this year. There's quite a few of them, so we've already done 8 and we're doing another 4 this week, 2 on Allan's channel. We've just done 2 on Allan's channel. Allan did Peacemaker, and he came up with a really nice little key comic, which and my advantage here is I see this before you, so I'm going to go out and get some copies
and pick it up.
And I did The Boys, of which we're getting season 3 in 2022. So Allan, what have you chosen for my show?
So I'm keeping it very DC this time. So this is Green Lantern. So the Green Lantern series is coming up sometime. I have no idea when it's coming out, but it's coming out. And the great thing about Green Lantern is it's a series where it's going to have to introduce like lots of characters. So many Green Lanterns. Like I think isn't there like 2 million Green Lanterns in the whole thing. It's like kind of crazy. So the interesting thing about Green Lantern is in the original Green Lantern, it's just like the lantern is magical and he's like, a golden age character that kind of gets some magic powers from the lantern. Well, in the Silver Age, they redid the whole Green Lantern mythos and made him a like galactic character, where basically we got the concept of the Green Lantern Corps. The whole group of intergalactic heroes that go around and save the universe. So in this book, this is Green Lantern #1. Always good to pick up that first title. It's not really the first title. There's the Golden Age title, but first, modern title, I guess, of Green Lantern. But also this book is the first appearance of the Guardians of the Universe. So they're the team that goes around and fights against all the bad guys. So, and this is the book that makes their first appearance. And now this is not a cheap book. Like you can see, mine is a very low grade. Even this, I think it's like $1,000 in that range, so pretty pricey book. If you want to get a mid-range one, it's going to be like around $5,000, probably I'd say 3,000 to 5,000. So yeah, it's a pretty pricey book. Very cool though, to get it, if you can get it. So a couple of the ones I'm going to be showing are really pricey, but there's going to be some cheap ones here too. So don't worry. I'll show some affordable ones as well.
Yeah, I won't be rushing out and buying Green Lantern 1.
I think it's underpriced. It's underpriced though. Even though I said it's like that expensive, you compare it to Iron Man #1 or some other these, Marvel comparatives, and it's really underpriced. Underpriced. DC is horribly underpriced. Yes,
I agree. But I'm not a Green Lantern collector. And if I was going to spend 3 to 5 grand on something, it would be a Batman or a Fantastic Four.
I give you that. Yeah.
Okay. Right. So talking about Batman, we have got a Batman movie this year, the first live action Batman movie for quite some time. The trailer looks pretty good. And so the sort of director has said that he's based the movie on 3 sort of Batman comic type things. Now, the first one, although this movie does not contain the origin of Batman, the director has said he's based the style of the movie on Batman Year One. Now, Batman Year One. So my first showing here is Batman Year One. It's actually 4 comics, but this is a classic Frank Miller tale, 4-issue little series, and what I think does appear in here, which is going to appear in the film, is Batman's first meeting with Catwoman. If you've seen the trailer, you'll see that Catwoman is obviously going to play a pretty
she's going to be in it.
She's going to play a pretty significant role in the film. Although this isn't going to do the origin of Batman, because we've had the origin of Batman goodness knows how many times, we are getting the meeting of Batman and Catwoman, and the style is the sort of Dark Knight sort of style that Frank Miller started to introduce Batman Year One series. So there we go. That's my first pick for the upcoming Batman movie.
I don't have it. I used to have it right there. that comic right there, but I guess I put it away. Okay, so I'm going to keep with the expensive ones first, and then I'm going to get into the cheaper ones. So sorry to blow everyone's budget here, but we're going to stay with expensive books, and this is a really expensive book. This is Showcase number 22, and this is the first appearance of Hal Jordan, and it's really where the whole re-envisioning of Green Lantern has been done, where he's now this very different character. It's the classic story that we generally know for Green Lantern. It's the story where, the alien crashes on Earth and Hal Jordan just happens to be there, and he's like, oh, here's the ring, only the purest can use it. It is that classic story. And it's also, it's just a great book. It is the first appearance of Hal Jordan. And what else we got? Silver Age Green Lantern, first appearance as well. And it's also the first appearance of Abin Sur and Carol Ferris. I think Carol Ferris is his girlfriend. I'm not sure about that, but I'm not sure who Carol Ferris is. I should really know, but I don't. So this is a great book. Again, a very pricey book. This is kind of like the mega key for Green Lantern, except for the Golden Age ones. This would cost you probably in that $5,000 range in like a 3.0. I didn't pay that much again for it. I picked it up before it kind of went crazy. So this is a really great book, though. Showcase 22.
Yeah, it's really great to see some of those classics. Yeah, really good. Right, my next one. So the other comic series that the director mentioned, he was sort of basing the film on, was a series of comics called The Long Halloween, which were 13. I think it was 13 comics, which sort of, there was one for every holiday in the year.
Okay. That's
and
cool.
And there's a serial killer who's killing people, and Batman and every holiday somebody gets killed. It's partly what the film The Dark Knight was based on, with Harvey Dent, Two-Face.
Okay.
So in this comic, the serial killer is Harvey Dent. Sorry, spoiler if you've not read.
Spoiler. Oh man.
If you watch the trailer for the Blackman film, it's clear that they're on the trail of a serial killer. Now, they're not repeating the Dark Knight one, and it's not Harvey Dent. They're basing the film. The main protagonist in the upcoming film is actually the Riddler. Okay. So this is The Long Halloween, number 7, and this is the issue in which the Riddler appears. Okay. Right. So it's not following the exact plot of this, because in this one, he's just the Riddler gets involved. Each of the issues contains one of the sort of Batman villains, and this one was April Fool's Day. So who are you going to have on April Fool's Day other than the Riddler? So yeah. And I'm just showing that. So my recommendation here is actually the full set of Batman, The Long Halloween. There's 13 of them, and they're affordable. Great read. It's a really good read, and the artwork is superb. I went back and had a look through some of these this morning, and really worth a reread if you've read it. And if you've never read it, either go and buy the 13 comics or get a trade paperback, because it's an absolute classic. Really good. The art, the story, really working well together. And I can see why this was part of the inspiration for the movie. And if you get anywhere close to how good this series of The Long Halloween is in the movie, then it's going to be a good movie.
Okay, cool. I'm probably going to pick those up because that's a really great. I like those where it's a great book, regardless if it's a good spec or not. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? Like, yeah,
no, it's great.
It's a win-win. Yeah,
it's a win-win. This is a really great read with great artwork. So regardless of whether it's a spec or not, it's a good one to buy. It's a good one to have in your Batman collection if you've got a Batman collection.
Yeah, I have a whole long box devoted to Batman. I'm actually almost on a second long box for Batman. So
yeah, me too.
But yeah, so okay. Since you showed a bunch of books where there's just like a bunch of books, I'm gonna do the same.
You can do the same, yeah.
I actually forget, in a way. I know, like, I got this as a set because it is all associated to this one character. And one of the characters that has been kind of speculated on and was mentioned to be in the series for Green Lantern is Jessica Cruz. And there's 4 books that you need to get if you're going to speculate on her. And I believe this is her cameo appearance, I think. Jessica Cruz. She's one of the Green Lantern people. And then this one, I'm not sure how it works. This is maybe her second cameo or something. or where she's mentioned as Jessica Cruz. I'm not sure. And then we got this one where she's fully Jessica Cruz, like, and Green Lantern. Like, so, and I think this one is where she's on the cover. I think so. It's like, so I'll mention what all these ones are. So it's Justice League 50. Okay, so that's her on the cover right there.
Yeah.
And then we got Justice League 31. Okay. And then we got Justice League 30. And then we got Green Lantern number 20. And this is the new 52 Green Lantern.
Okay.
Number 20. Yeah. So it's like a whole bunch of books all around one character.
Yeah.
So and I haven't read these, so I don't know which thing. I just spec'd on the character. This was me buying based on spec. I was, at the time when I bought these books, I was hanging around with some people on their channels. Like I was visiting their channels, and they kept on going on about Green Lantern, and they loved Green Lantern. So I got kind of like sucked into the spec around Jessica Cruz. So that was like a couple of years back. So I bought all the books, hadn't read them yet. So it's not a good sign, but yes, these are all the Jessica Cruz books that you need to pick up if you're interested in that character.
Okay, so my third one here, I'm going to show an expensive comic now. So my comics up to now have been relatively low priced. Here is an expensive one. So the main protagonist in this Batman movie is going to be the Riddler, Mr. Enigma. And this is I think this is his first Silver Age appearance. Okay.
Oh, yes. Yeah. That's the first Silver Age Riddler.
Yeah. So this is one I bought way back, back in the 80s, and I had it slammed, and it came back with a horrible purple label.
It sucks when that happens.
It's got a bit of color touch somewhere. I can't see it. But anyway, this is quite an expensive comic. So that's Batman 171, first Silver Age Riddler.
Yeah, that's a great book. Yeah, I way back when I was picking up all the Silver Age first appearances. Because with DC, that's one weird thing. You don't have that with Marvel, because Marvel really introduced the characters in the Silver Age. Yeah. But, you got Submariner, but would be the only one I can think of, maybe.
Human Torch.
Human Torch is another one, and Hawkman and Hawkgirl.
Yeah,
they all kind of reappeared in the Silver Age as well. But actually, Hawkman, Hawkgirl, that's DC.
That's DC.
What am I saying here?
And Human Torch, although he does appear in the Golden Age, the Silver Age one is a different Human Torch.
Yeah, it's a different guy. It's Johnny Storm.
Yeah,
So it's I'm trying to think of my Marvel ones that kind of reappeared, and I can only think of Submariner and
Submariner.
Torch. That's it. I don't know. So there's not really like the same kind of thing that you have with DC. So I was picking up all those books as well. Okay, so I figure I have I still a ton more to show, believe it or not.
We'll go. Show a few, because I've finished showing my Batman.
Oh, okay, I got a bunch. Okay, so I'm going to just show a bunch of characters that are kind of key to Green Lantern, and I think they will all make an appearance. So this is Green Lantern number 201, and this is the first appearance of Kilowog. Now, if you're familiar with Kilowog, he's actually kind of a key character. He's the trainer for Green Lantern. He's the guy he's the big guy in the back there. He basically trains the Green Lanterns, and he's kind of like that drill sergeant kind of character. Really cool character. I really like this character. Big fan of the character, Kilowog. So this is Green Lantern 201. And then we got this one, which is Green Lantern, I believe it's Emerald Twilight. And then it's number 48. This is the first appearance of what's his name? Kyle Renner, and he becomes the third Green Lantern. So he's kind of a key character. I believe he's been cast. So another character that will appear in the series. Then we got, so there's so many different Green Lanterns, right? So then we got this one, which is Green Lantern 59, which is the first appearance of Guy Gardner. So, just a kind of a major key book for, he's like one of the Green Lanterns, one of them.
Yeah.
He's one of the ones that most people don't like.
He's dorky.
He's the dorky one with the bad haircut, the bull haircut. So most people don't like Guy Gardner. So he's like that annoying Green Lantern. And then we got the one that people do like, which is Jon Stewart, first appearance. Now this is Green Lantern 87. I just happen to have a signed one by Neil Adams.
Nice.
I'm a big fan of Neil Adams. This one I got really at a great price. I think I paid $400 for it.
Whoa.
Okay, and
you wouldn't pay $400 for that today.
This is probably $1,000 book now, based on the grade. It's like a 7.0. And it's just, it is it has Neil Adams' signature, and it's verified, so it's a great book. And it has Jon Stewart on the cover. So just a really great character. I have a feeling they will use this character. So Jon Stewart's first appearance. So that's Green Lantern 87. And and the last one I'm going to show, I actually have one more, but I won't show it. Is this one, Green Lantern number 7. Now, this is I mentioned all the kind of good guys. This is the first big bad guy for Green Lantern. This is Sinestro.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Sinestro is the first appearance of Sinestro. Big book. This book is actually one that spiked and has come back down. So it's definitely one that is worthy of picking up. Sinestro actually appeared in the Green Lantern movie with, what's his name? What's the guy's name? He plays Deadpool. He also played Green Lantern.
Oh.
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds.
So Sinestro was the big baddie from the Green Lantern movie that did really bad. That movie did terrible. I don't think
I've ever watched it.
It's not a bad movie. It got really bad reviews. There was a few things that were kind of crappy about it, but the majority of the movie was great. I thought it was interesting, right? I like Ryan Reynolds a lot, so I kind of maybe give a little bit extra credit for that, but I enjoyed the movie. And I thought the guy that played Sinestro was quite good. So what happens in the movie? He basically gets infected by alien spore, basically, almost like a thing, and it basically gradually makes him smarter. His head gets huge, and he becomes he gets to use there's different types of ring power, I guess. You got willpower, and you got the power of fear, which is Sinestro's power, which is the yellow. It's really powerful. So this is the first appearance of Sinestro. And if you want to get Sinestro's first cover appearance, it's in issue number 9. So that's a big book, really great book to pick up. So I actually had one more that I can show just for showing. It has nothing to do with Green Lantern series. I just brought it by accident. Was this one, Green Lantern 76. And this is the first Bronze Age Green Lantern. It's the first team up between Green Lantern and Green Arrow. Has nothing to do with the show. It's just a book I accidentally brought with me. So that's it. Those are all the ones I had to show for Green Lantern. I have a lot of Green Lantern stuff.
I can see. I've got very little Green Lantern stuff. Alan, so what do you think? Do you think the Green Lantern TV series is going to be a hit?
Okay, so what I've found is DC is really good at making TV series. They seem to have that knack better than Marvel. Marvel, when they try to make TV series, they're generally terrible, actually. Or not. Well, actually, the recent ones at Disney Plus were kind of so-so. I would say so-so. But DC, if you look at Stargirl, you look at Daredevil's Marvel. If you look at let me think of some other ones, Titans. Like any of the animated ones, Titans. They do a pretty good job. I find that DC series are very watchable and very enjoyable. Like Flash, it's a big one I can think of as well. I really enjoy DC series for the most part. And I have a feeling that they can do, it depends on how much CGI they're willing to budget in, because that's the problem with Green Lantern. It requires a huge amount of CGI, I would imagine. And I'm not sure what the budget's going to be like for the series. It really depends on budget, because if they do some crappy CGI, it's just going to look bad. That's the big problem it's going to be a hit or miss, I believe. So if it's a hit, it's a hit. If it's a miss, it's going to be a big miss.
Well, I'm going for my first miss here. I think it's going to go and nobody's going to notice it.
Oh wow!
For some of the reasons I think there's a number of reasons I say this. First of all, Green Lantern is not in the public consciousness. It's not a Batman. It's not a Superman. It's not a Spider-Man. Even Doctor Strange is more in people's minds than Green Lantern. There's a bunch of geeks out there who love Green Lantern, but it's a complex. And the other thing about Green Lantern is there's about 1 million of them. And so they're not, if they're going to bring in 5 or 6 Green Lanterns, fine, but people can't associate with a single one. Plus, as you said, it's one of those things that needs a lot of money spent on special effects, and I've got a feeling they're not going to spend the amount of money they need to spend on it. It's one of my worries with Sandman, but because Sandman's on Netflix, I think they're going to spend the money on the budget. I think they'll spend the money on the special effects. So I'm going to go, this is my first, it's going to be a miss prediction that we've had.
Okay. Yeah, I'm hopeful. I'm really hopeful. I really like Green Lantern. I'm a big Golden Age fan. So Green Lantern's like one of those kind of cool characters. I actually read a lot of the Golden Age Green Lanterns. So I really enjoy him as a character. I kind of hope that they do it justice. Yeah, but I'm not super hopeful either. I'm not 100% sure. But the Batman movie, that I have a feeling is going to do well. I'm not a big fan of Robert Pattinson, but he can act. He is a good actor when he wants to be. You know, it's not. I'm just hoping they don't make Batman for Twilight, which would be pretty scary.
Yeah, but, I'm not a big Robert Pattinson fan either.
Robert
Pattinson,
yeah.
Sorry, I'm not a big.
Is it Robert Pattinson? I always mess up his name.
Yeah,
so yeah,
it's somebody. Yeah, he was in Twilight. Anyway, that guy.
Yeah, yeah, that guy from Twilight.
So, yeah, I mean, for me, Christian Bale was my favorite Batman. I'm afraid.
Yeah.
The trailers look pretty good.
Yeah, they do.
I quite like the plot line. I quite like the fact they're doing the whole Catwoman thing. You know, they're doing it as quite dark, you know, so it's, you know.
It's going to be more gritty, I think.
It's going to be quite
it's going to be more
The Dark Knight.
More like a Batman in his kind of like low-tech kind of state, I think. You know, kind of where he's kind of learning the ropes a bit. I think maybe that would be more interesting in a way.
Yeah, so I think it'll, you know, there's been quite a lot of Batman movies, some really bad ones, and some really good ones. Yeah, I think it's going to go in the upper half.
Okay.
I don't think it's not going to be the best Batman movie ever. But if it gets into the top, you know, top 10, top 5, or close to that position, I think it could do. In which case it'll do well.
So then Detective 27, you think that book's just going to tank, right? It's just that's a totally waste of money book, right?
I think Detective 27 survived even the Batman and Robin movie. It survived George Clooney as Batman, you know. So,
you know, he should have been a good Batman, but he's terrible. I actually personally I like. I'm actually going to go with what's his name for the current Batman, not the Robert Pattinson one, but what's his name? Ben Affleck. I actually enjoy Ben Affleck as Batman. He's my favorite of the Batman, strangely. Okay. So I'm which is weird because not many people like Ben Affleck as Batman. But I do. I actually think he gets the character, I think.
I think Adam West was better than Ben Affleck. Anyway, we can sit and argue about who's the best Batman. Well, let's see. I'm predicting a mediocre success for the Batman movie.
But I think it's one of those ones. Even if it's a mediocre success, it reinvigorates the fan base and creates new fan base. Yes. So that's going to be good. I think it comes out in March.
It does. It comes out in March, same time as Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange, I think, is at the end of March, so quite similar timings.
A little bit of a battle between DC and Marvel going on there.
I think the Batman is mid-March, and I think Doctor Strange is end of March, beginning of April, so there may be a 2 or 3 week gap.
Okay. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to both movies. Those are going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's good that you wore the Batman shirt for it. I don't have that's one thing. I don't have the shirts to really justify being a comic collector here. I don't have it. I'm like lacking on the shirts. So
that's one of the things I buy in Stackery, because you can't get good superhero shirts in my size in the UK. But when I go to America,
You're small.
I'm small.
Everyone's huge there. I always feel like, oh my goodness, everyone's so big here.
When I go to the States, which I do occasionally, I always buy T-shirts because they all fit me.
Yeah. I'm a little guy, so
you've got no chance.
I have to buy kid sizes. So it's like people are huge in the US. Huh? It's like amazing. But oh well, that's a whole different story.
Anyway, great. Thanks, Alan. And are we doing the same thing next week? Have we got any TV series films to go?
I have some more that we could do. I have some more.
Okay.
if you want. It's up to you.
Yeah, no, I can do. I've got a couple that I could probably do. So I think maybe last week, next week will be our last one of these. But we're going to get you 4 more next week. So I'll see you next week, Alan.
Okay, bye for now.
Bye.